so enough of the introduction here. So we've got about, some time here for us to sit back and really kind of dive into this. And I really wanted to hopefully hear from some of you that might have some questions as we kind of step through this. I'm going to take my time as we step through each one of these, again, as best I can. So a lot of people ask, when were you getting started in this business as a business entrepreneur here with American Business Systems, am I going to have to pay for each of these services? So let me kind of help answer that question right off the bat. First of all, when you become a part of American Business Systems and you pay and you invest in yourself, right under $30,000 here, you're getting everything that we're talking about today. We're not going to piecemeal this together that, boy, if you can come in here and just get the iClaim and EMRX for another $1,500 a year, you can get, Audit Guard or Code Right or Compliancy Guard or any of these. No, what you're getting here is the entire package. We feel that is the best value for you because it doesn't do you any good to have add-ons or even with the support. There's no addition to the support. You're getting everything that we're talking about here that it will help you get your business started. So what we're going to do again, I'm going to try to step you through again all the different brochures that you're going to get because that's what's included with your business package as you get here. It's almost, folks, a business in a box, so to say, as you can see here, but you don't actually get these boxes. You get one box that has everything in it because everything else will be accessed remotely, whether it's through the iClaim EMRX system or the ABS LSS, which is a licensee support site. Now, you will get some other material in the mail or delivered to you, and it could be additional books that you might want to order because you need more from what you got here. Now, again, I didn't throw that in as a, hey, we're gonna catch you on the back end and have you pay for more stuff. There's going to be a time where you might need some additional books. We're going to get those to you at cost. So and I'll show you what those books look like here in just a very quick moment. But one of the things that you are going to get is all of these flyers. Now you can see, now I've got it kind of all crunched in here because we've added so many new services since even I began. And it's amazingly how it's grown and how it's become bigger and better. But what I'm going to show you on each of these, on these next few slides, you'll see it just showcase just one flyer after the other. Number one, I want you to see here that we've taken a lot of expense. We've used a lot of resources out there to help us to help you. And one of that is in marketing of itself. What you want to have is a consistent look and feel to everything that you're doing marketing-wise. So we're not having you go print these out anywhere. We've got a professional printing company that actually prints these on demand for you at the time is where it's time for you to get your material. Now, you're going to get a sampling of this already that you can get started right out of the box. But there's an order form that you're going to have inside of your box there that's going to allow you to order all of these. Now, you get to, instead of just coming kind of blank here at the very bottom, as you see here, your company information, your logo, everything else that you want printed on these particular flyers will come to you customizable for you for your business. Again, folks, let me reiterate, that's at no additional cost to you. So that's all part of the package. So again, you can see here that American Business Systems will not nickel and dime you on the cost of what you are going to need to get. Yuriv is asking, are we getting access to digital format of this marketing material? It will be somewhat in a digital format for you to use if you want to use it for some, let's say maybe some email campaigns or some other things. But what you're actually getting are going to be hard copies in a high paper weight in a glossy type of format. Because you'll also get some presentation folders that you're going to be able to put these in along with your business card, maybe an extra letter that you want to say from you as the business owner to your potential client that you're looking to getting. So all of this is real hard assets that you're going to have at your disposal for as we kind of go through here. All right, so let's just dive in on that first one. If you'll go back up over here, as you can see here, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to kind of work my way from top the top part tier of this to the bottom tier of this, and we're going to try to take these in somewhat of an order, but we want to make sure that you get all of this information. So the first one that you saw there, let me get over there. Let me get to that slide there. The first one that you saw there is for revenue cycle management. Let's talk about what that is in the beginning, because revenue cycle management is known in the world of healthcare as what you know it as medical billing. So with medical billing, you don't want to just go out there and say, hey, I'm a new medical billing company out there. What you want to really start getting into your vernacular here is revenue cycle management. That's the professional word out there when we're dealing with doctors and when we're dealing with clients and when we're dealing with maybe groups of doctors. You want to kind of talk within their world of what it is. Now, they may start calling it medical billing. They may call it something else, but typically, again, in every world, office managers know this, medical billing companies know this, their staff knows this. Obviously, the doctors know about it as revenue cycle management. Now, first of all, let's talk about what that looks like real briefly. Now, again, this information that I'm sharing with you right now, you will learn during our training. We have a complete in-depth training that will take you over maybe 2 weeks or less to get through that training. But one of the first things you're going to learn in that training is revenue cycle management on a very deeper scale than what I'm sharing with you right now. But let's just kind of take it a little bit. Like I said, I've got limited time to be able to educate you on this, so I'm going to do it the best I can for you right now. So if you've just now started doing some investigation here with American Business Systems, and you're talking with your business coach here, talk to them about, hey, give me a little bit more information about this whole revenue cycle management thing. I understand it a little bit. Eric shared with me a little bit about it on the webinar, but you can see up at the top, it starts off with claim preparation. All that is getting the information from the doctor, and now you're going to start checking patient registration. Now, well, you're not going to do it, but inside of our system, there is patient eligibility. So you can see here from the very beginning of a claim, it actually starts with making sure that we have the right patient information in the system, and then that patient has been checked against their insurance for eligibility. Now, there's a lot of things that happen right at this very moment. So everybody just kind of pay attention here real quickly. This is where most claims fall apart. It falls apart at the very beginning. And this is where a lot of doctors' offices who have their staff doing their billing falls off on the table. How is that? Well, because that office is so busy and they don't have time to make sure that they've data checked all the registration or check patient in and eligibility, and all of a sudden that patient goes back and sees the doctor. Next thing we know, they're trying to send out a bill. The claim gets rejected because patient eligibility wasn't verified properly or the registration wasn't done properly. All of a sudden, it comes back as a unpaid claim. That's so key. That's so important to know about the first stage of revenue cycle management. Now, again, I can't go deep inside all the rest of these, but from there, it goes into claims submission. From claims submission, it goes to claims management. From claims management, it goes to some reporting. Reporting is where you're going to pull all the reports together, show the doctor how much you've been able to collect for them, and then eventually actually get your invoice out, and the process starts all over again. So that's revenue cycle management. Now, why that's important here with this particular flyer here is because one of the things you will become from American Business System is a certified medical revenue manager, not a medical biller, because that medical biller pigeonholes you into that's all you do is just medical billing. What you're going to find out today that there is a larger thing that you're sharing with these doctors to help them get their revenue stream up and going. So you're going to be a certified medical revenue manager here once you've completed that training. And once you've done that, now you become part of really the nation's largest network of medical billing companies, and that's through us here at American Business Systems. However, what we want you to make sure of is that when you're out there marketing to doctors and you're able to say, hey, my name is, for now, Eric Auger, CMRM, They're going to go, okay, who gave you that certification? Well, you don't want to turn them to say, oh, well, I got that from American Business Systems. You see where I'm going on this? So what has been created is another company or another organization called MERMA. That is the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. This has been in play for several years now. It has its own board of directors. It has a medical director as a part of this organization. And it is this group who certifies you, not American Business Systems. I remember, gosh, 10 years ago where people were saying, hey, once I get through this training, can I put the ABS logo on there and have some credibility to myself? And we would go, gosh, no, you really don't want to do that. And that's where the birth of MERMA really came from. We needed an organization here to support you. And now we have that. Like I said, there's a board of directors. There is a medical director on board on this to can testify that you've been through that training. And now you've got something that you can share back with the doctors, because the doctors can actually go to merma.org and go see what's going on and see who's on the board of directors there and see what's going on with that. And now you become part of the nation's largest group of medical billing companies, because there's several that are supported there. Matter of fact, what MERMA does a lot of times will actually do some of the trainings for the doctors, or maybe some webinars for the doctors, and some things that are go like that. There's all different types of things that can happen throughout the year through this organization, but it gives you some credibility that you've gone through training, you've met the requirements there, and you're doing very well, and now you're part of this team. So that's revenue cycle management. So let me keep on going here. Now the next flyer that you're going to get is the iClaim flyer. Now, again, you can see all these different bullet points. Everything is there. But what you're going to see down here at this little spot down here at the very bottom here, there's enough room on there, again, to put your contact information on there. And this is going to be very important, because now you don't have to worry about going to a printer or taking this digitally and get it over there to a printer and then having your contact information put on there. We do everything for you on that. Now, if you were on last week's webinar, you will notice that we've updated these flyers to make it more in accordance to what our websites that you get from us look a little bit more like this now. So we've even matched up this to way the formatting of everything looks like on the websites that you get. Again, that's another tool to put in your toolbox over here for the iClaim platform, or for the iClaim, yes, for the service of iClaim. So what is iClaim? iClaim is the medical billing platform. I've got just a quick little screenshot of that here on a computer. The iClaim is the billing platform in which you will use to do the billing for the doctors. Now, I'll probably preempt a couple of questions. Do the doctors have to use iClaim for you to do their billing? The answer is yes and or no, and I'm going to explain that. So just hold on with me. Don't let that get away from us here in just a second. I want to put this together with, again, the next part, which is the EMRX. But before I move from here, do you recall one of the first things here I said in revenue cycle management at the very top, and how critical that piece of it is to get patient registration and patient eligibility done properly within a billing system? The reason I'm showcasing that right now with the iClaim system here is that within this system, if you can, you might be able to blow up your screen a little bit there if you need to, but right over here where it says shortcuts and right underneath there, it says eligibility request. Now, let me tell you why that is so important, because inside of the system, we can put in the patient's, or the doctor's office, if they're utilizing our system, can put in the patient's insurance information, whether it's Blue Cross Blue Shield or Medicare or Aetna or Cigna, or whatever it may be, put that in. So click on that button, put the patient's name, put the patient's information, insurance information in there. And within this system, we'll go to that particular insurance company, verify that that patient has eligibility. If they do, click another button and build the entire profile for that patient with inside of the iClaim system without having to type out that information. Well, what have we done? imagine that we can go to a doctor and say, doctor, what we can do is eliminate the majority of your claims that are being rejected right off the bat, because we have a service that will take care of that process from the very beginning. Now, wouldn't it be nice if we could, ABS, demonstrate this for you, for your doctors? Well, hold on. I'm going to share with you about that in just a moment. Now, let's move over to the EMRX platform. Now, the EMRX platform is actually tied to, integrated, not add on, but literally integrated into the iClaim platform. What is EMRX? Well, EMRX is the electronic medical records platform. As you see, it's for fast charting, automated workflows, customizable workflows for that doctor, making sure that they can do e-prescribing from here. Everything is built inside of the electronic medical record system, the EMRX, including every one of the medical codes. Well, what does that mean for you? Well, that means for you, as a certified medical revenue manager, you don't have to go to school to learn medical coding, because inside of the system, it's already doing the coding for the doctor. So everybody's gone to the doctor. What's the first thing they do for you? They ask you the questions. They ask you, what's wrong with you? Why are you here? And then they go through, actually, if you come in and say, well, I've got a sore throat, what is the thing they're going to look at? They're not going to look in your ear. What are they going to do? They're going to look down your throat to see, to take care of that. Then they're going to take down their notes, and then they're going to finally write out what's wrong with you. Well, in the technical world inside of the EMRX platform, and really any EMR, any electronic medical records platform, that's what's known as a SOAP note. Okay. Now, again, I'm not going to get too technical here, but that all that stands for is subjective, objective assessment and plan. Why is that important? Because subjectively, the doctors ask you what's wrong with you. Objectively, they look down your throat to see, yep, that's a sore throat. They do an assessment. They go, yep, that assessment is a sore throat. And then they get to the P, which is subjective, objective assessment and plan. I had to kind of roll that through my head there a little bit. And finally, they write out the plan for your care. Well, all of that collects all that data and then suggests to the doctor, this is the code that you use for the sore throat, and this is the code that you're going to use for your billing. Did everybody hear that? The system in and of itself does the coding for the doctor. So I wonder if you'd kind of take a deep breath now. You're not going to have to go to a coding school for you to do medical billing. Now, why is this important? Because now I'm showing you in some type of a graphic here how all this is working together, because one thing that I didn't get to showcase with you is what's called the patient portal. So you see that up there where I've got iClaim and EMRX, the flyer there. And up at the top, kind of left-hand corner there, right in the middle of the screen, is a patient. So that's the system already comes with the patient portal, is what I'm saying. So that would feed into the doctor's electronic medical records, which feeds into the iClaim platform. And one thing that's very different from this platform than any other medical billing platform out there in the market that we know of as of this time is that the iClaim EMRX platform is the only one that has its own clearinghouse literally built into the system. Now, it's not sitting there with this kind of this shadowy look of a building there. It's just representing that the clearinghouse is intact inside of the iClaim platform. This gives you the opportunity to do those eligibility verifications and prove to the doctor, yes, I can go to each of these insurance companies and prove that the patient that you're about to see actually has insurance verification. And while I'm there, I'm going to go ahead and populate the patient's information into the system, building its own profile for each patient. So the only thing you got to do is, hey, can you stand right here from this camera? Let me take your picture, and I've got all your information into the system. Boom, it's done. And it's clean, and it's exactly what the insurance company has. Not because someone typed it and they made sure they had to get it typed in there correctly and not miss a keystroke, which again causes other claims to, guess what happens? Yeah, it denies the claim because if they're not put in there correctly. So this is a complete advantage that you have here. So that's why we showed this graphic, and we've shown it differently at times for you, that ABS is a complete integrated system. iClaim, which is the billing system, the EMRX, which is the electronic medical record system, the patient portal, which is the patient's way of going online, paying their bills, seeing their medical records, requesting more medical records if they need them, see all their tests, can pay their bills online. They can even do a telemed visit through that same patient portal with the doctor, and the doctor's on their EMRX platform. They can take all their notes and it shows up at the patient portal. Plus, again, that left-hand corner there is this own clearinghouse, which is a claim scrubber, and it submits all the claims. So what does that really give you right off the bat? Well, it gives you an incredible tool, a very strong, powerful tool in which you can go market your business. That's why it's so important. That's why it's so strong here. So we wanted to showcase, again, basically the three things I shared with you so far, which is the revenue cycle management flyer, in which you become a certified medical revenue manager, the iClaim platform, which is very unique because it's got its own clearinghouse built inside of it, and then the electronic medical records, which is the EMRX, all built in together. Now, here's the great thing. Now, I mentioned this to you a little bit earlier, but for some of them that may have to get off a little bit later, we're already at the bottom of the hour, I want to let you know, one great tool that you'll have in your bag of tricks is that our technology team will do the demonstrations to and for your doctors at the given time that you want to demonstrate this to your doctors. And that, again, folks, is no additional cost. That is actually what you're getting from American Business Systems. Again, as far as I know, there is no other business opportunity in medical billing that has given you so many tools right off the bat without me even having to go the next 30 minutes and share with you all the other services. You could literally take what I've just said and go build a business, and that's all that you do. You become a certified medical revenue manager. You've got an incredible billing platform out there to go do it. And we here, our technology team, our technology support team, will actually do the demonstration, not just once, not twice, however many times it takes for that doctor to sign up underneath you as for you as a biller. All right, so Yarvi is asking again, what is the cost of the software to the clinic? How expensive is it in comparison to other softwares out there? Great question. Because there is a cost that goes with any system. Right, I'll tell you right now, a doctor that's on Athena Health right now is paying for that system. If a doctor is using any other type of software out there, they are paying for that system. So in comparison of the cost, the comparisons many times will be at the same basic cost that they're paying currently right now, or even a little bit less expensive. And that will be determined on how you structure the deal. Okay, so that is all built inside of what you're going to learn through the training. And then when you work with your support team here, when you're trying to build out your proposal, how do you want to bill the doctor? I'll tell you what I did, because I did this at one time, 2 or 3 times, where I actually absorbed the cost for the doctor because I saw that the volume of the billing that I was going to get was enough for me to absorb that cost within my company and bill it and not even charge the doctor. That's what I'm saying. You can charge the doctor directly, or you can absorb it. You can do whatever you want to do with it. That's why I said there's a couple of different ways in which you want to do this. I did both. Both doctors were both happy. It didn't really bother them in the long run. So that's one thing that you can certainly think about as we kind of go forward. So hopefully that's helped you so far. Again, I know that there are people that might have to get off a little bit earlier. So let's just make sure that I wanted to get all of that in there because we've got a great crowd of people there, and there may be some other questions that come in a little bit later. And sometimes we don't get able to get to all the questions because we're giving you so much information here. So let's talk about another service called Quick Collect. So what is Quick Collect in and of itself? Well, I don't know if you, since you've gone to your doctor at any given time, or in the medical world and healthcare, that you may have ever gotten a notice in the mail that you owe money, and then all of a sudden you get another notice, and it's not from the doctor anymore, but it's from a collection agency. Well, let's talk business to business. This is where you've heard us talk about in the past, where doctors are not always the best business people. However, because of that, that puts a very big strain on doctors when their cash flow is low. And that's why there are healthcare collection agencies out there, because they know that they could go buy those claims for pennies on the dollar from the doctor, because they know that the doctors need their money. So let's just say that the doctor says, look, collection agency, I've got X amount of claims that are not being paid by my patients. I need you to go after these people. Whatever you can collect, you can get, but just give me half of what that is, or a quarter of what's, I got to get some cash flow in here. That is typically the problem. But what else does it do? It doesn't create a good, warm feeling for that patient to have to actually come back to that doctor. There can create some animosity, and from a business standpoint, that doctor may end up finding that they've lost that patient. And it's not because that patient didn't really want to pay. Maybe there was this happens quite often, that a claim gets filed to an insurance company. The insurance company does something with it. They don't pay it for whatever reason. And so what does the doctor end up doing? They have to go back to the patient and say, hey, look, your insurance company's not paying. I got to get collected from somebody. I need for you to pay it. And then you go, well, no, my insurance company's supposed to be paying for it. And you go back and forth to that doctor. All of a sudden, now you're getting guess what again? A collection letter from the doctor because your insurance company didn't pay for it. Okay, so this is just really bad business if you think about it in the long run. So we have a service called Quick Collect. And what it does, it'll help manage the receivables that are most often difficult, or the last item on the to-do list in any doctor's office. So this replaces a doctor's need for a collection agency. So instead of the doctor having to outsource that out to a collection agency, we can put this doctor on an automated system inside of Quick Collect that will actually send letters to the patients without it ever saying it's coming from a collection agency, because it's not coming from a collections agency. It's actually coming from the doctor, and the doctor doesn't have to spend the time writing the letters, nor their staff, and then putting them in an envelope and then sending them out, and then doing this process over and over and over again until the patient pays. So that's what Quick Collect comes into play. Now, hopefully, folks, you may have never understood what Quick Collect is all about. Now you do. Now you do, and you can see the business side of it. That's what's so important about Quick Collect and the collections resource that we have here, that goes along with iClaim, which again makes you a medical revenue manager, not just a medical biller, because you're helping the doctor manage all of their revenues. Speaking of, again, revenue, what about choice pay? Choice pay gives that doctors more payment options, okay? So it gives the doctor an opportunity to go give their patients, especially now here in the beginning of the year, where a lot of patients have high deductibles and they got to pay those deductibles down. So why not set up some type of a payment plan for those specific areas? So that's what Choice Pay does. Again, this is another revenue, part of the revenue cycle management. That's why, again, you're a certified medical revenue manager. You're helping the doctor manage their revenue, not just from their billing, but now directly from their patients. You got Choice Pay, you've got Quick Collect. You're keeping the patients from being turned over to collection agencies. Now you're giving the doctors a solution to say, look, how about, let's go back to Choice Pay. Let's say that the patient owes $500. The patient says, look, how can I pay that over time? Of course, we've got another service called Choice Pay that we can put you on, and all we need is your credit card. And what we'll do, we will send down basically a notice right before we're going to charge the collect to make sure that you got this taken care of. So folks, you can see you're out there solving problems with these services. Now, where did these services come from? Come directly from the doctors over a period of time. We would hear from our business owners here at American Business System, says, hey, this doctor has come to me and says, hey, Eric, or whatever ABS licensee business owner that there is out there, he says, hey, I've got this problem. Do you have a solution? So all these things that we're talking about here come from the doctors going back to our ABS business owners and saying, hey, I'm having a struggle here. I'm having a struggle there. Can you help me here? Can you help me there? This is where a lot of these services have come into play. So that's just a little history on all of that. Next is Audit Guard. Now, this will give, again, a big relief to everybody who's probably on the webinar that one might listen to it a little bit later. And that is, you do not have to learn medical codes. Okay, let me say that again. You do not have to learn medical codes. Will you learn medical codes? No doubt about it, because this is going to end up being your business. You can understand what a 99213 is, or a 99214 is, or a whatever code that there may be for a certain diagnosis. But you don't have to know those by heart as you do billing, because again, it's the doctor's responsibility to give you the proper codes. And if they're using the iClaim EMRX system, it's coming to you anyway. You're going to start recognizing different codes here and there. So what is Audit Guard for? Well, okay, so let's talk about the importance of what Audit Guard is. Audit Guard is a way that can help the doctors make sure that they're billing and coding correctly, and they're not overcoding, nor are they undercoding. Now, what does that mean? So typically, if you go see a doctor for 15 minutes, that may be a 99213. That's a procedure code, and it could be reimbursed at, let's say, for lack of a better number, we'll just use a round number, let's just say $100, okay? Now, the doctors are always under some type of audit, whether it's with Medicare or any of the other insurance companies. And what they're doing, they're going in there and doing some spot checking. Medicare may even call the doctor and say, hey, we want to look over 10 charts, okay? What they're going to do is an audit. What if the doctors had an opportunity to do their own audit without being actually audited by an insurance company or Medicare? They can now, because we got an entire service that employ certified professional coders. That's what's called CPCers, okay? Certified professional coders. That is a service that you as a business owner here at American Business Systems can apply and utilize. So you can tell the doctor, I have a team of certified professional coders. How about we just do the same thing what Medicare would do or any other insurance companies would do, and let's do a preliminary, hopefully, audit on the doctor to see if they are overcoding or undercoding. Again, if that code is right there, and some doctors may want to charge a little bit more, but their notes don't support it, we can go in there and say, you know what, doctor, if you just dictate a little bit more information, I think this qualifies for higher reimbursement. But you got to make sure that you have all of your notes done properly. That's what the certified professional coders will tell the doctor. Not you, they will, and they'll do it on your behalf. You can be on the meeting and be a part of it. You get to charge the doctor for this service. You'll make some money on top of that. Obviously, the service doesn't come just for free, but you're going to pay the service for the certified professional coders to do this work. But you're doing an upcharge because they've got like basically a wholesale price and a very low negotiated price that we've got here with American Business Systems. And then you can turn around, you can make 10, 20% on top of that, and you charge that back to the doctor, however you want to do that. Now, let me tell you where this comes into play. I think on the front end, right now, doctors are probably going through a lot of audits right now. Part of your marketing plan may be just offering doctors, hey, doctors, we do at our company, we do preliminary audits that you may or may not be going through. And if you're going through one, we'll certainly see what we can do to help you out. So what we would like to do is at least talk with you to do some sampling and see if you're at least making sure that you're coding properly. Because these codes and these reimbursements change all the time. There are new codes that come out with specific modifiers that need to be updated all the time. And if the doctor is not using a system like what we have here with the iClaim and EMRX, they may not be able to keep up with all of those codes and make sure that they're always inserted into the program. Ours does that all the time. Again, if they're using our system, EMRX, it's going to make sure that the notes are substantiated, that the timing is done, and it's going to spit out the exact code that the doctors need to bill for. So, but if they're not using our system, this is why this is important, but also important for you to know that you do not have to do and learn medical coding. Now, let's get to the next one, which is code write. Now, code write is very similar to Audit Guard, except it's working on, instead of on the proactive side, it's working on the side that's continually the doctors are seeing patients. So if the doctors really want to optimize your reimbursements, what they may want to do is just hire our coders to make sure the doctors just turn in their notes. Our coders would review those notes, make sure that those are all done properly. Again, this is if the doctors are not using EMRX, okay? So if they're using a different system that helps answer your question, if you had it earlier, do the doctors have to use our system? No, they don't have to. Does it benefit them in the long run? Does it pay for itself in the long, not even really in the long run, in the short term? Yes, it does. But if the doctors are using some antiquated type of system where it's still residing on their computers, they're having to set it over here in the corner of a closet, they've got their own server, who knows the last time that thing was updated with the new codes and everything in it. This is why these services are so important, because you're going to run into doctors that still have their servers sitting in some corner and trying to keep up with it. And on top of that, security and everything else that goes along with it. Well, again, the coding resource, we use, again, certified professional coders to do everything for you. All you'd have to do is scan in the doctor's notes, their charts, get it to the coders. The coders will have it back to you within 24 hours or less, usually 48 hours or less. So at least give them a day or so to get the information back to you. And that way, now you can go do the billing, okay, if they're not using iClaim, okay? So that's just some information there. Folks, we got about 15 minutes here. I'm going to kind of go through some of these next ones fairly quickly, not really quickly, but enough to make sure that you got all the information. So let's talk about HIPAA. HIPAA compliancy is huge. So huge. There's several different websites out there. You can go see how often doctors are being whacked by issues with HIPAA. Do you guys know that if a doctor's office allows their staff to have their personal iPhones back behind that door and that glass where they have you back there, that if they don't have certain policies written within their compliancy books that they're supposed to have, they could be violating HIPAA issues, whether it ever happens, ever. So, folks, this is so important. Have you ever walked up to a doctor's office and you see somebody else's chart open right in front of you with a patient's name? That is a HIPAA violation. Have you ever been in a doctor's office where the screen is turned and you're able to see other patients and maybe recognize somebody's name? It happens all the time. Do you ever go into a doctor's office and you see a chart, a stack of charts just laying around and nobody's doing anything with them? That is a HIPAA violation. All right, so why is this important? Well, again, one of my favorite marketing parts that I like to do, going out there and doing, trying to get a new client, is go and whenever I had the time to go out there and go to office to office to office and say, hey, my name is whatever my first and last name is to my company's name. I'm just here wanting to see, get the name of your HIPAA compliancy officer. What I got most of the time was like, oh my goodness, what just happened and who is this guy? Okay, so now you can see why this is so important, because they think you're like there with the government or something that you're going to go try to turn them in. Well, not all the time, because what it did, it gave me an audience, usually with the office manager. That's what you want. You want just to get your foot in the door. And if you do nothing more than just go out there and do your marketing and say, hey, I'm so-and-so with this company, just trying to find out who your HIPAA compliancy officer is here at Dr. So-and-so's office. Oh, well, that's so-and-so. Great. Well, I'm doing a presentation on HIPAA compliancy on a webinar in a couple of weeks. I'd like to have them invited to it. Oh, well, let me get them for you. Well, that's all you want is a name and a phone number, and get them to come to maybe a webinar that you're producing, or maybe you're going to do a lunch and learn somewhere, or you just want to say, hey, can I come in here and give a 15-minute talk to your company on HIPAA compliancy and the importance of some of the things that you may be overlooking. Bring them lunch, do something that gets you in the door. That's what I'm saying here. It's these services are not just to say, hey, look at how many services ABS has to show you versus any other billing company business opportunity out there. All of these have essential services that you're going to want to use for these doctors. So this is very important. I mean, folks, if you take nothing more out of this today, you become a revenue cycle manager as a certified medical revenue manager company. You're going to have a superior platform to use, the iClaim and EMRX platform, and then all the services I've talked to you about so far. Let me kind of round it out here with AutoCard. Now, this is important because, again, remember I mentioned earlier that doctors are not that great at business people. I don't say that to put them down. That's things that they say to us. What are they good at? They're good at making sure they help me with my cough, making sure I've got my Bobos taken care of, making sure that they're taking care of my mom, my dad, my children, me. They're good at that. And I want them to stay good at that. But what they're not always good at is the business side of what I talked to you about earlier. And now marketing. Providers need a way to stay at top of mind with and for their patients. So AutoCard is not, again, just some fly-by-night thing that we put together to say, again, hey, we've got another service that we can add to what you're getting with your entire package here. It has a very specific purpose. AutoCard provides an automated way to increase appointments and to stay in constant communication with the doctor's patients. That's why this is important. It could be mammogram reminders, annual wellness visits for their elderly. It could be just a happy birthday. It could be, hey, we've got a new service coming on board that you might want to come talk to us about. Maybe we're doing Botox now. You know, all these, listen, go to a dermatologist's office. They're doing all different types of stuff all the time. And AutoCard could be that part. Now, this AutoCard is not an electronic card. It's a real card that gets sent to the patient from the doctor's office, automated, and more of, if you think of it, more kind of like a drip campaign that happens for that doctor's office. And it's actually a service that can be used by you guys too. If you want to start marketing to a doctor, say that you went and saw 10 doctors and you got 10 names from people that are the HIPAA compliancy officers, and now you want to do the same to them. You can use this AutoCard to do that same thing there. You can drip market these doctors that you've talked to already. All right, got 9 more minutes. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them because I want to tell you we're always adding new services. Within the last year, 2 to 3 years, we've added all 3 of these. Virtual care, which is a hot topic because that has to do with remote patient monitoring, chronic care management. Folks, y'all, I don't even have to go into that because you know what happened during the pandemic. More doctors are seeing patients by telemed now. Now they need a way to remotely measure their blood pressure, their weight, pulse oximeters, everything. That is virtual care. We've got that part set aside for you. We got credentialing. There's a lot of doctors who need to make sure that they need a full service credentialing management company. And you can do that because doctors are going to say, can you do my credentialing? I lost my credentialist. Who does that? And if you don't know what that is, again, get back with your business coach here, and they'll explain that to you. And then finally, everybody's always asked, can I do dental billing? Well, you can't do dental billing with the iClaim platform because the iClaim platform is specifically for medical billing only. So what we've been able to do, we've had a partnership that came by and said, yes, we want to support. We see how good you're doing in healthcare billing. We want to be part of one of your technology partners. So now we've got Dentamax. So we've got a complete cloud-based dental practice management system. That is what we have. And we're continually looking to see, are there any other services that one of our business owners could actually use or could be useful for the doctor? So as you can see here, folks, we have kind of gone through the entire gamut of all of these different services that we have here. Every one of them. I've been able to take the last 50 minutes and kind of help, pull it all together and give you what are your best tools for growing your medical billing business. Well, here it is. You've got every single tool that you need. But again, there's a little bit more that I'm going to share with you here at the very end. You're going to get a practice analysis. So once you've got a doctor that's interested in going, yeah, I want you to know more about iClaim or EMRX or HIPAA compliancy guard, or yes, I want to do maybe an audit on my claims. Well, what do I do next? Well, the next thing you want to do with that doctor or that office manager is set up a time where you take them through what's called a practice analysis questionnaire. It's going to do more than just help the doctor understand, yes, I'm going to help you with that specific service, but you need to collect some data. And some of that data you're going to find out is obviously how many clients do you see? What is your average billing? How many of those, do you even know what your rejection rate is? You're going to put all that into a report. And then when you come back and you get to visit with the doctor and say, hey, I just want to share with you, I put together this report for you just to kind of give you a snapshot of where you are with your practice right now. Right now, you're probably collecting about $27,000 in monthly revenue. However, I can show you that I can probably add another $10,000 on that for medical billing if you'd like to discuss that. Okay. You mean you could possibly add another 10 grand to that? You'd make it from $27,000 to $37,000 a month. Well, what doctor would want to say, well, yeah, show me what you got? I mean, even if it was half that, folks. So at that point, did you sell medical billing? This is what I think so many people get a little bit afraid of. I'm not a good salesperson, or I'm not good at marketing, or I'm not doing. If you're good at showing people solutions to problems, and we could say, well, doctor, listen, you may be happy to keep it at 27,000, but I'm just letting you know you're possibly losing about 10 grand a month. Just with the analysis that I did. I haven't done a full analysis of everything, but I've done enough here to show you that you're probably losing anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a month. People are motivated by what they're losing, not what they're gaining. So you got to put that into your vocabulary and how you're thinking, and the psychology back behind making sure that you're saying and giving the right message. So that's why we want you, and we're going to show you exactly how to do that. Plus, again, as another tool, you're going to get us to do the demonstrations for you. I already mentioned that to you, that we do your demonstrations. This is not something you're going to go through this couple of weeks of training, and at the end of training, you're going to have to demonstrate to us that you can do a demo. No. If you want us to do a demo for you in 5 years from now, we'll do it. So that's what you're getting. And then you're getting the books. And I mentioned to you earlier the books and the importance of these books, because the importance of these books here is that we've already written all of the pain points that the doctors have. And that's why we call it the new thriving medical practice. But the good thing about it is that you will be the one that's listed there as the one that wrote the forward to the book. We have a templated forward that we want you to look over, review. If you want to add more to it that sounds more like you can go ahead and do that. Then whenever it's time, just like what we did with all those flyers, we're going to print your name on the book. And inside of the book, as the person that wrote the forward, that has all of your contact information in it. And then when you go through training, we're going to show you how to go through that and set tabs in there to point the doctor so they don't have to read the entire book. You're going to highlight some specific areas, and we're going to show you how to do that. Along with that book, as another marketing tool, are 9 ways doctors let money slip through their fingers. Again, we do the same thing there. You're going to see this as a complement of your medical billing company with your contact information on it. We'll do the same thing with that. We'll set tabs up there, and we're going to show you how to mark it up so that the doctors can get right to it. Folks, I've already gone through 55 minutes, 56 minutes, 57 minutes now at this point towards the end of the webinar. Hopefully, you've been able to grasp all the different tools. Someone's asking, can we customize the websites we receive? The answer to that is yes, Brian. You can be able to customize that. Now, let me share with you a little bit some of your next steps. Again, let me tell you that ABS is the only company that I know of that has a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you want to make sure that you're with the right company, get on board with us. Before you start anything else, get on board with us. Understand about that money-back guarantee, and that'll be very helpful. So here's your next steps. For those of you who've not seen these and you want to stick around, go ahead. If you got to go, I understand. But here's what you need to do next. Ask your rep here that you're working with, get the research guide. Hopefully everybody that has been on previous webinars, you've already got the research guide downloaded. You've got it into your bucket of stuff that you're doing your due diligence on. Continue to keep doing your due diligence. Next thing, go to our YouTube page. I mentioned to you earlier that I did a webinar last week, some of the 10 best ways for you to market to doctors. Go back out and watch that. The one previous to that, I interviewed Dr. Vicki Rackner. You're going to want to go get that. Go look at all the other different interviews out there as part of your due diligence. The other thing you want to do is your due diligence, call some licensees. Some of our business owners already. They're happy to take your call. They will help you get that scheduled around their schedule, around your schedule, and make sure that you can talk to folks like that. I mentioned to you earlier about live demos. We do your demos for you, but how about we do a demo for you? Okay, before you purchase. You need to set up a time where you go through and sit down with one of our business coaches here at American Business Systems and let us take you through a tour of that iClaim EMRX platform. Show you how we can go out to the insurance companies, pull that information in here and pull all that together. We'll step you through that, not a problem. And then get the purchase agreement. On the purchase agreement has the full explanation about the 30-day guarantee, which means that you're going to go through training. You're going to complete the training before 30 days. Okay, but you still have, let's say you do it in 10 days. You still have 20 days to still make your decision. Tell me where you can go get that done. It's just not there. So we've got that built in for you. And at the end of the 30 days, you feel like this is just not for you, simply ask for your money back and we'll get that back to you. Finally, what we want you to do is get the agreement, fill it out, get your funding, schedule your training. Again, that's your next steps. You want to get through all of that. So here's our phone number, 866-565-8413. Call us, email us at info@absystems. We'll be happy to take your questions. Hopefully, I've answered a lot of your questions this afternoon. If there's any questions that are left, I think most people were able to stay on here. Some people I saw that had to leave a little early. But if you're going to have any questions, or answered all your questions, good. Let me know that you felt like you got great information today. And then we'll look forward to seeing you again next Wednesday. Same time, different topic. We'll be changing these topics up all the time. But get back with the business coach that you're working with here at American Business Systems. We would love to talk with you very soon. It's my pleasure to be with you this afternoon. I hope you stay warm, stay safe out there, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Y'all have a good evening. Bye-bye, everybody.